Hi, welcome back to Live and Breathe Horses at Centro Cristi La Luz. So today we're going to have a little look at lateral flexions. So I think the first thing maybe to point out, like so many things, it's not that we're teaching our horse that. I mean, we're just building a communication to ask him when we want him to do it. I mean, they can very easily turn their head round and get a fly off their belly or scratch themselves. So they can do it naturally very well. So a lot of people do this with food. So you can stand here with a treat and ask them to bring their head round. But for me, you're missing a learning opportunity there. You know, it takes away a chance to build in another communication. And, excuse me, I think the other thing about it is to remember, it's not about making the neck flexible, it's to really build in a control to the feet. So by learning teaching the horse to swing his neck round and do the lateral flexion, we are getting control of the feet. So it's also useful, you know, later when we are doing circles, we're doing our lateral work, whatever we're doing, if he knows on cue at the halt to bend the neck, it gets easier to do it when we're ridden. So doing on the ground, it's good to remember what we're going to do when we're on top. So I'm going to start just to do it with halter and rope. I mean, it doesn't need to be a rope halter, any halter. If you've got quite a long rope, it's a good idea. And I'm just going to stand by where the saddle area. So basically where I would be if I was on. So that when I get up onto my horse, what I'm going to do now means something to my horse. So I'm just going to take a hold of the rope. So we want to imagine we make a half circle from the horse's head out and back to here. And I'm just going to put my other hand here. We can put it on the saddle if we have a saddle on at the time. And if the horse moves, I'll just move with him. And it's with my energy that I would ask him to stay still, so that I'm not giving any energy going out, no direction. Take a breath, wiggle the toes, bounce the knees, be nice and soft. Don't chase the dog. And I'm just going to start asking for a very, very little bit. So I'm going to stand here at the side and I'm going to take my hand out this way. And as soon as I get the tiniest little reaction from him, he's very distracted at the moment, there we go, I'm going to stop and just take a moment. And then we just keep going to repeating that. So we get a little bit more each time. I can even stand a bit further back. There we go. Good boy. So he obviously knows this a little bit already. We haven't done it for a long time. I kind of thought he might start moving off. So we'll just do another one. So as soon as I come out here, you see when I'm sitting on top, my hand's going to kind of do a similar movement. And then give each time he comes and give and give. And we can ask a little bit more there. Good boy. Lovely. So we'll just try that from the other side. There we go. So same again. Just stand here, I can hold on a bit of mane with this hand, so if he moves I'll go with him. And I'm just going to pick the rope up, come out to the side and give. That's it, give and give. And then I'm just bringing my hand round to where my hip would be if I was riding. Good boy. Good boy. Lovely, so that's the basis of that. So now we're going to try that, how we would do it with a bridle instead of with the halter. Okay, so we're going to ask the same lateral flexion with the bridle on this time. And we can do it from the same position standing at the side, or we can do it from the front. So an important point I didn't mention with the halter is about keeping the ears level. So that when the horse turns his head round, this bit of the neck here goes in. You know, that he doesn't tip his nose up and put his head to the side. So the ears should stay level and he stretches round the outside of the neck and this cheekbone here goes in. So basically it's the difference if I turn like that or if I turn like that. Okay, so let's have a little look. So here, of course, I can use the outside. I'm going to hold the reins as if I was riding in riding position. And here I could use the outside rein to stop him tipping his head. So I'm going to ask in the same way, going out in a semicircle direction And as soon as I get a tiny little reaction, I'll give and then ask a bit more and give and ask a bit more. Paying attention to my horse, following his breath. And if he's going to move his feet, I'm just going to move with him and then give as soon as he stops. So it's better to bend less and keep the head, the ears level, and the vertical line is that perpendicular to the ground, rather than bend too much and have them tipping the head. It's much more useful. So yeah, and then just build it up very little by little. So let's just have a look at that on the other side. Just pause, take a moment, make sure we're nice and still. Take a breath, wiggle the toes, and we can hold the outside rein gently there, which we could also use to ask him to not move. And just fix the hand here, and I'm going to do the same, come out. So I'm just going to wait there because he's distracted by something. So I'm just going to wait till he's looked at whatever he's looking at over there. There we go. Little vibration in the rein just to say, hey, we're going to do something here. And then coming around to where my hip would be if I'm riding. There we go. A little bit more. There. So I don't know if you can see that, but he has a real stiffness in his neck on the right side, and we haven't had the horse bodywork person here for a long time because of COVID. So for him, you see the bend on the right is much more difficult for him. Okay, so let's have a look how we can also do that from the front. So we can also do it from here, from the bit. So I'm going to let him put his head at any height he wants to start off with. And then I'm just going to, let's start on that same side we're on. I'm just going to here, keeping the jaw nice and active. Like I said, I'm going to let him have his head low if he wants. And then I can just use my hands here just to ask him to come around. And here I can really control to keep the ears level very easily. And then we can just come around. You see, so here I can ask a little bit more. Bend. Good boy. Good. So let's try a little bit on the other side. So we'll do the same thing again. I'm just going to let him keep his head down there if he's comfortable down there, so we get a nice stretch up the outside. And we're just going to ask for a bend around. If he moves his feet, I'll just go with him and stay very soft. Make sure I'm not giving any energy to move. See if we can get around here a little bit more. There. Just like to wait there. Good boy. There we go. There. And I just waited there a moment for that flick of the ear. And then once we've practiced that with the neck at whatever position we want, we can ask here for the paw to be the higher point. So higher than the withers. And then we can ask the same flexion, but a little bit higher up, you know? So we can just ask with a gentle up movement, and then ask for a little bit of bend around. Just gently playing with the snaffle, keeping the jaw nice and flexible as we go. And as soon as we get a nice little bit of movement, let go. And just remember those pauses in between. Very important. So let's just try another little one on the other side. So I'm going to ask him to bring his head up. First, of course, I'm going to bring myself and my energy up. And that already, you know, we have to, if we're asking a certain posture of our horse, we want to make sure we've got that in ourselves. You know, we can't say to our horse, be up and proud if we're standing hunched over, or ask our horse to have a relaxed posture when we are tense. I guess that's kind of stating the obvious, but anyway. So we'll keep his head up there. We can even ask him to be a bit on the vertical. And then we're just going to do the same. So just gently with the thumbs here, playing with the snaffle, asking him to come around. Keep making sure the ears are vertical. And this bit of the jaw here goes in. We're just going to stay there till we get a little relief. That's it. And he's dropped his head down. So we'll see if we can get that a bit more up there. That's slightly better position there. There. Good. So always trying to wait for a flick of the ear, a nice soft expression before you let go. And even if that's because the horse was looking at something or got distracted, it doesn't matter. It's the point of a thinking moment and a change of expression. Good. So let's have a look how we can do that from on top. I'll just put the saddle on, I think, might be a good start. So I'm going to do the same from up here. As we said, imagining we've got a half circle from the horse's head all the way around to my hip, and start the same just by asking out and round to here. If my horse moves, I'm just going to keep going until he stops, and if he stops, I'll release straight away. So I'll make sure he's nice and settled and standing still before I start. He's a bit restless. So just make sure I'm down on my pockets, completely relaxed, really down in the saddle. And then I'm just going to ask out here, and like I say, if he moves, I'll just keep going round to here. And just hold there, looking down, keep breathing, and as soon as he stops, I'll let go. Again, so just take a moment, take a breath, nice and still and relaxed. I'm going to do the same again. Looking down, so all my energy's down here on this spot, and around, and around. Good. There we go. Hey! It's a bit rude. And once I've got the stillness there, of course, I could use my outside rein to make sure his head stays vertical. But in the beginning, I'm just asking for stillness. I'm not worrying about that. And again, like we said, on the ground, only to do as much as you can do easily and go building it up little by little. You know, you don't have to start with bringing the head all the way around. So let's just do one more on this side. Take a moment, take a breath. We've just turned him out on the green grass this morning, and then I brought him in to film this, so he's very aware that everybody else is out there on the grass. Good, lovely, that's good. So go around, out again. He sees my hand coming out. Good. Hey! There, lovely. And then we can just let go. Okay, so we'll try that on the other side. Okay, so you see, this is where the bending comes in, that we're getting control of the feet. So it's not just about the neck. That if he's going to move his feet, I should have let go quicker there. Look, he was nice and still, and I should have let go. There we go. The bend, we're getting control of the feet through that as well. See, this side is easier for him. If he's going to move, I'll just stay until he stops, and as soon as he stops, I'm going to let go. I was a bit late there, I could have let go quicker. So make sure I'm still, you know. If he moves off, I was actually going off that last time thinking about what else I had to do next. So it's about being very present, very still with the mind. Wiggle the toes, feel the connection point in the stirrups so we can ground down through the horse. And then we can try again. So as soon as he sees my hand coming out, he starts to bend. Oh. And as soon as we've got a bit of stillness, we'll let go. So as soon as he stops, I'm going to let go.